Hey there, this is Lady Dreamers, and welcome to this month's Did You Know? This month's Did You Know is going to be a two-parter because I am doing Alice in Wonderland. And gotta tell you, I wanted to do this last year, and there was so much there, and there was a lot of reasons why I didn't do it last year, but I'm doing it this year. And stay tuned for part one, which is about the book and about some of the background on Lewis Carroll and some of the things in the book. Part two will be about the movies. So, hope you stay a while. Welcome to Did You Know? When I was a little girl, my mother used to read Alice in Wonderland to me. It was the Disney Little Golden Book version, but I loved it and had her read it to me over and over again. When we went to Disney World in February 2019, we went to the Grand Floridian, and they had brunch with characters. Alice in Wonderland was one of those characters, and I had to get my picture with her. And then I told my mother, I said, you have to get our picture with us because you are the one that read me the story. You're the one that got me in to Alice in Wonderland in the first place, if you think about it. When Alice heard this, she ignored me. She paid all the attention to my mom and called her the storyteller. And I really kind of got a kick out of that because the fact that Alice thought was so cool my mom was helping tell her story was something else. When I grew up, I wanted to know the story behind the story and found out that sometimes too much knowledge can be too much. So I'm going to tell you the good side of Lewis Carroll, aka Charles Dodson, and how the story of Alice in Wonderland came to be in Marcel. Now, Charles Dodson, aka Lewis Carroll, was an Oxford mathematician professor. And basically, he spent most of his life being a professor at the university. And he also liked to publish both books about math and fictional books. And he decided that when he was doing his fictional books, he would do a pen name so he could basically have a little bit of being anonymous. But when the success of Alice in Wonderland came to be, being anonymous was not really in the books. So, his publisher was the one that basically chose Lewis Carroll. He decided all these different pen names, and one of them was taking the name, taking his name, Charles Ludwig Dodson, and basically he put Charles Lutwidge, his first and middle names, put him into Latin, and then took that Latin and put it back to English. And he got, 1 second. I'm going off script again. So, basically, it was colorless Ludwicus. Well, let's put it this way. On this part, I'm going to do a little edit, and you should see the name right around where my fingers are. And if you're good at Latin, you'll know how to pronounce it. He was born on January 27th, 1832, in Daresbury, Cheshire, England. And he was the eldest son and third child to Reverend Charles and Frances Dodson. He had 10 brothers and sisters. And let me tell you, after learning that after learning his name was Charles Dodson instead of Lewis Carroll, I've always thought of him as Charles Dodson more than Lewis Carroll. So if I say Dodson, you know I'm talking about him. He had a stutter all his life, but he didn't let that stop him. He became a professor at the Christ Church part of Oxford University, and stayed there even after he was a professional writer. Charles Dodson made friends with the daughters of the dean of the college, and the dean's name is Henry Little, or Liddell. And I've always heard of it as Little, so it's like Eric Liddell and Chariots of Fire, Liddell. And he had daughters named Lorena, Edith, and Alice. Alice became the inspiration for Alice in Wonderland. On July 4th, 1862, there was a picnic that included a boat ride. Charles delighted the girls with a story about a girl named Alice and her adventures underground. The girls loved the story so much, it is said that Alice begged Dodson to write the story for her. That November 26, 1862, he sent Alice a handwritten manuscript complete with hand-drawn pictures that he drew himself. And you will see some of the pictures from that on the little montage after this. Now, I will tell you, the books changed not only their name, but it changed a little bit in the storyline. What started as Alice's Adventures Underground became Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and then, as we know it now, Alice in Wonderland. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland was published November 1865. And he also wanted, instead of doing the pictures himself, he got Punch illustrator John Tenniel to do all the illustrations for him. And it was John who wrote the Cheshire Cat like this. This is a copy of one of John's original paintings. And Punch is it's a satire. Yeah, it's a satire magazine. A little bit. I think Mad Magazine might be an extreme, but also you'll see in regular like newspapers and on the internet, you'll see kind of a satire type picture drawing, and that is what John did a lot in his regular job. He did the drawings for both Alice in Wonderland and for its sequel, Through the Looking Glass, which was published December 27th, 1871. Now, I'm not really going to go through Alice's Through the Looking Glass, but I will tell you that when I do the movies part, a whole bunch of movies mixed the characters from Through the Looking Glass and Alice in Wonderland together. And so they're kind of all the same. It was Tenniel who put the 10-6 on the Mad Hatter's hat, and yes, you can see right there. There's, if I can get it, there's Mad Hatter and his little 10-6. So basically, when they did Disney's Alice in Wonderland, they kept some of the characteristics of John Tenniel. And the real Alice had short brown hair, and they decided to make Alice have longer blonde hair because, they thought that would get more sales. The 10 and 6 pence means 10 shillings and 6 pence, also known as 10 and 6. It's because of this that Mad Hatter's Day is celebrated on October 6th in England. And October 6th is when my parents were married. I tried to find how you say it in pounds sterling, but because they had, during the Victorian age, was the quote-unquote old money, and the closest I could find that the hat would cost £9 and 57 pence, which is 1865 money, but done in current money, how you say it. So let's face it, that hat he's wearing is kind of expensive. And the interesting thing I found is that Charles Dodson took a lot of little things from the times and from history and kind of intertwined him in his books. I would say the phrase "mad as a hatter" is called that because in the 1800s, hat companies used lead in their hat process, and lead would get in the hat maker's system, creating lead poisoning, which is said to make a person mad. The other saying about the Cheshire Cat is grinning like a Cheshire Cat. This is from Cheshire, England, where he was born, and where his father was vicar at the All Saints Church in Daresbury, Cheshire, England. And I have some pictures of both in Daresbury, England, and in Oxford that were literally dedicated to Charles Stotson, aka Lewis Carroll. Cheshire, the county, is big in dairy, and there's a type of cheese called Cheshire. The cheesemakers used to make a grinning cat mold, and they would slice it from the bottom of the cat and then go up, and the only thing that would be left was the head grinning. So that is why, one of the reasons why Charles Stotson has the Cheshire Cat disappear. Now, I would tell you, I was trying to see if there was any of those modes left, and I couldn't find it in Google or MSN search, but I did find stuff about the Cheshire cheese, and there is a company now called the Cheshire Cat Cheese Factory that has a grinning cat as part of their logo. Now, talking about the Cheshire Cat, he is actually based on a brown tabby. And so it's a British short hair. And so the version with Johnny Depp has him be kind of gray and blue, and that is actually leaning more towards this picture than the pink and purple that I love from Disney's version. As I stated earlier, Charles Stotson worked at Christ Church, and in the Great Hall there is, like I said, stained glass, and it is not only dedicated to him, but there is a panel for Alice and a panel for her father, Henry Little. And as a side note, the Great Hall at Oxford University is the basis for the Hogwarts School of the Magical Arts in Harry Potter. So, what did Alice think about all of this? The real Alice tried to keep a private persona and was able to do that until she was older. She never expected the story to inspire a cultural phenomenon, which it did and still does. She married Reginald Hargreaves in September of 1880 and had 3 sons. By 1928, her husband had passed away, and 2 of her 3 sons were lost to World War I. She had to auction off her handwritten manuscript to Sotheby's auction for money. Now, mind you, she kept that handwritten manuscript that Charles Stotson wrote for her back in 1862 most of her life. And I'm sure that if she didn't have to auction it for money, she would have kept it, and it would be probably handed down to her children and grandchildren. Now, the manuscript sold for £15,400 and came into possession of a gentleman called Eldridge Johnson. After Johnson's death, it was resold, and then it was presented to England, where it resides now in the British Library. So, you ask, but what happened to Charles Dodson and aka Lewis Carroll? After the success of Alice in Wonderland, he kept up with his photography, which we really won't go into that much, teaching and writing. He wrote over 20 books for both math and literary topics. He really liked to take pictures, and most of his subjects were young girls. Just putting that out there right now. But he also took a lot of pictures of famous British subjects like Lord Alfred Tennyson. And the pictures I have of Alice and her sisters as a young person, he took himself, and those are the pictures you'll see at the end of this little thing. Talking about sisters, Charles Dodson had 6 unmarried sisters. After his father's death, he was responsible to take care of them. He got him a house in Guildford, England, and would often visit them there. At Christmas time in 1897, he went to visit them and unfortunately didn't come home. He got sick with the flu and pneumonia and passed away on January 14th, 1898, 2 weeks before his 66th birthday. The house where his sisters lived is now a bed and breakfast. I believe his legacy is that of the author of Alice in Wonderland. He wrote a fantastic tale about this girl and her adventures, and it has literally stood the test of time. It's an incredible legacy to have. In his lifetime, he was also a photographer, a professor, a writer, but he was also a son, brother, and friend. And, if you think about it, he should be remembered fondly 100%. And I hope you've enjoyed this Did You Know? And I have to admit that it's more about Charles Dodson and little bits and pieces about his book rather than the whole book. But still, I had fun writing about it, and I had fun writing about the family-friendly part of it. And like I said, if you want to know more, check the internet. So, I did separate this into 2 parts, and coming up is the Alice in Wonderland, the movies, including the movie that started it all, Walt Disney's version. So, this Lady Jamers saying, like, subscribe, tell your friends about Lady Jamers' channel. Hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, be safe, and we will see you later. Bye-bye, and enjoy the little montage all about Charles Dodson and the story and more. Bye-bye.